With Francis Ngannou and several other UFC fighters demanding higher wages, top UFC prospect Paddy Pimblett has also joined the noise by refusing to fight any tough opponents until he gets a bigger and better contract. But first, a reminder about our brand new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple. First, knocking out Luigi Vendramini. Paddy Pimblett, a former Cage Warriors champion, burst onto the UFC scene last year. In September, the cocky Englishman made his debut and beat Luigi Vendramini by TKO. Since then, a number of fighters have stated their desire to be the next to put the Liverpudlian to the test. The Liverpool fan favorite had a scorching start to life in the organization with Vendramini. Pimblett rocked and knocked out Luigi Vendramini in the first round of their battle, but he put a stop to speculation of a much higher-rated opponent. Paddy Pimblett is one of the hottest new prospects on the Ultimate Fighting Championship roster, a man who built up more than 750,000 Instagram followers after his debut UFC battle last month. He is now signed to a 4-fight agreement with the UFC, but given his massive and growing popularity, he wants his compensation to match the kind of opponent he will face. The jury is still out on whether Pimblett will be able to survive in the shark tank that is the UFC's 155-pound division, but one thing is certain: the baddie has no intention of facing any great white sharks on his current contract. Pimblett has spoken a lot since that fight, suggesting that he is the one to watch for future UFC stars. He recently featured on the UFC's Unfiltered podcast to discuss his future plans. Next, the bout with Jared Gordon and Tony Ferguson. He also talked about what transpired with a possible, but now cancelled, battle with Jared Gordon. He told Sportskeeda that he would have gladly fought Jared Gordon, but at the same time, he looked at the situation he was in, realizing that Jared's had 9 UFC bouts, and considering how much money he's getting, well, he's getting a lot more than Pimblett, so looking at it that way, he's glad he never ended up facing Jared Gordon, because he wants a better and larger contract before fighting individuals like that. F that, I'm not fighting a top 10 on the money I'm on, lad, Pimblett said in an interview with James English. Next, Paddy is in demand. If it seems like a familiar theme, that's because it's pretty much precisely what another hot young UFC contender, Sean O'Malley, is saying, albeit without the Scouser accent. It's definitely a wise decision for Paddy, who has quickly realized that simply being a hot UFC fighter can lead to rich possibilities, such as a recent 7-figure agreement with Barstool Sports to be a brand ambassador and a content producer. Who knows how it will work exactly, but it's a hint Pimblett is a hot commodity. Pimblett himself just inked the agreement as Barstool Sports ambassador, indicating that he understands his worth, and as long as the UFC isn't in a rush to renew his contract, he's not in a rush to start battling his way up the rankings. We expect to see more of this as the UFC continues to bring in a large number of athletes from Dana White's Contender Series, which may add buzz to names, but surely does not add zeros to bout purses. The UFC might take their time with the 26-year-old former Cage Warriors champion, and when asked whether he expects to be fast-tracked, Pimblett said no. It is unknown who Pimblett would fight next, although he was recently called out by American Jared Gordon and simply answered, "Let's do this." Many seem to believe that Paddy is delusional if he thinks he deserves a pay raise so early in the game. That too without having fought any big names, with one person stating that if he wants a big paycheck, he should first fight a few big ranks. Now in other news, Joanna Jedrzejczyk has fought in the octagon against several women known for throwing huge punches, but the one who hit her the hardest might surprise you. Rose Namajunas, Zhang Weili, and Valentina Shevchenko have all faced off against Jedrzejczyk in the past. Namajunas and Weili were the fighters that did the most serious harm to the former strawweight champion, with Thug knocking her out at UFC 217 and Magnum causing a big hematoma to emerge from her forehead at UFC 248 respectively. Namajunas was chosen by Jedrzejczyk as the more difficult of the two batters. She did, however, mention another competitor who strikes the hardest overall, and that accolade goes to a former colleague and championship candidate named Valerie Letourneau. Jedrzejczyk and Letourneau squared off at UFC 193, where the American top team mainstay successfully defended her title by unanimous decision. During the defense, Jedrzejczyk established a number of records, including the most major blows delivered in a UFC title fight, 225, and the most leg kicks thrown in a bout at 70. She then ruled the division until her reign was ended by the aforementioned Namajunas. Next, on Twitter, John Jones hinted at a possible return to the octagon. Since February 2020, the former UFC light heavyweight champion has not competed in the octagon. Following his win against Dominic Reyes, he relinquishes in his 205-pound title and declared his intention to go up to heavyweight. His plans to return, however, have hit a snag. Bones, Jones was unhappy with his pay, and it looked like a significant boost was necessary to face Francis Ngannou. Despite tremendous fan interest in a possible super fight, it never took place. Francis Ngannou remains the UFC heavyweight champion, but owing to schedule conflicts, he is unlikely to fight for the organization again. As a result, Jones looks to be on the lookout for a new opponent for his return fight. Jones rushed to Twitter to express his willingness to face the greatest heavyweight of all time. Former UFC heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic is most likely referred to as Bones. Fans and the promotion rate him as the finest to compete in the weight class in history. After releasing a video of himself eating ice cream in bed, Conor McGregor generated a flurry of worried remarks from fans. The Irish fighter is presently out of the UFC as he recovers from a fractured leg suffered in a loss to Dustin Poirier last year. He's been busy on social media recently, promising supporters he'll stop drinking before uploading a 400-word meandering message from his tavern, the Black Forge Inn. Fans are concerned when he posted a video of himself eating ice cream on his bed while shooting his legs before switching to a camera view of himself eating an ice lolly. In the same Instagram post, the Irish actor showed photographs of himself drinking booze. McGregor had pledged to stop drinking and concentrate on his UFC comeback, which had previously left fans skeptical. The Irish fighter is contemplating his comeback at lightweight and hopes to return in April to start sparring and full contact training. This would pave the way for McGregor to return to the octagon in the summer, when he would face a number of prospective opponents. Next, future bouts. He will almost certainly face the victor of the lightweight fight between Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson, which is scheduled to take place early this year. Despite his original requests, McGregor will not be given an immediate championship chance, since the UFC has scheduled Charles Oliveira's defense against Justin Gaethje. Oliveira was eager to take on McGregor and has stated that he is waiting for the Irishman to challenge him. If McGregor advances past Gaethje in the final bout of his UFC contract, a win over a top contender in his cage return might set up a battle with Oliveira. Despite his low ranking, McGregor is expected to lead an event upon his comeback, having headlined 8 of the top 10 selling pay-per-views. Next, Joe Lawson is preparing to step into the octagon for the first time since 2019. The lengthy hiatus was primarily caused by his own internal conflict regarding possibly retiring. J-Law last fought in the UFC in October of this year. He dominated and TKO'd Jonathan Pierce in front of a boisterous crowd in his hometown of Boston. After the fight, UFC President Dana White stated that Lawson should retire. The lightweight veteran did not make a formal retirement announcement at the time. Instead, he'd spend the next few years thinking about his future. Lawson will face fellow bonus king Donald Cowboy Cerrone in April, almost 3 years later. J-Law made a difficult decision to enter the battle. In an interview with MMA Junkie, he confessed that he left the choice to take the fight up to his trainers. Lastly, news on Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib Nurmagomedov has called Conor McGregor's 2017 crossover battle against ring great Floyd Mayweather fake. Former two-weight UFC champion McGregor walked into the ring for the first time as a professional against 49-0 Mayweather in a match that caught the attention of all fight fans. McGregor was stopped by Mayweather in the 10th round after winning more rounds than many predicted. Neither man has fought professionally since. The crossover bout was a great success on pay-per-view, with 4.3 million buys, the second highest total of all time. Nurmagomedov, a former UFC fighter, admitted the crossover fight was a historic event, but compared it to a sparring session. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Paddy Pimblett deserves a new contract? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.